I am live. This is Math 75, Mathematical Analysis for Business, and we are talking about the present value of an annuity or annuities. And this part of the book is all about bonds, except for if you read the actual book, it's got like 3 sentences. It says nothing, and it just confuses everyone. So I have gone ahead and I have written up this very, 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 very rough guide to bonds and bond trading, because this is something that's actually going to be important to a lot of you. Anyone who goes into business, bonds are a big part of financial planning. They're a big part of both raising money, especially for municipalities and states, but also they're part of an investment strategy. And so they are very poorly understood by most people. And as you're about to see, the math involved is very tricksy. So I will do my best to try to unravel some of it. I would encourage you, if you're really interested in bonds, start looking them up. There are lots of places online. If you Google bonds, Investopedia, it has some good stuff. Believe it or not, even the United States government has some investment information, certainly a lot of information about the Fed. And so just look around, because bonds can be your specialty. If you're going to go into business, you can specialize in knowing how to advise people about bonds, just because they're so complicated. Okay. So a bond is a financial instrument with fixed payments called coupons and a fixed value at maturity. And there are a couple things about this. Not all bonds have coupons. Some bonds are just a fixed value at maturity with no coupon. So it already from the beginning, what I wrote, I don't even like. But this is I got this investment somewhere. I got this definition somewhere, which I'm using. So let's dive in. Basically, what is a bond? Well, a bond is created when, in the simplest terms, if, say, a city wants to build a new school, maybe they want to build a STEM building for, say, a community college. Maybe a community college names the City College of Mantangisco. And, I don't know, I'm just making it up. And they want to build a STEAM building for the math teachers to give them a fancy new place to work, and so that they're not working in rooms that are flooded all the time. I don't know, just, off the top of my head, hypothetically. So, and rooms that have power 24/7. I mean, imagine if you had access to electricity every day. So these things are exciting. So the city decides, okay, we need to raise some money because we don't have the money for it right now. What the city will do is there will be a vote. The people in the city or the county, depending on what level is taking care of this, in Mantangisco and in San Francisco. San Francisco is a city and a county, so it gets a little more confusing because it's kind of the same group, right? But you get to vote. So the people of the city vote. And if they agree, yes, let's do this. We think that all the math teachers deserve buildings that aren't flooded and have electricity, most days, if not all days. Then what the city is allowed to do is it's allowed to sell bonds. And basically, it's a promissory note. It's a way of saying, I will sell you this bond, and then in 10 years, I will pay you this other amount of money. And the thing is that's how it's basically taking out a loan. So if you buy bonds, you're loaning money to cities or states or other entities. Even the US government, T-bills, treasury bills are bonds for the government. So the par value is the original price of a new bond. The coupon is the interest payment to the person who holds the bond. Sometimes bonds have these, sometimes they don't. The maturity value is the value of a bond at the end of its term, and that's also the par value. You've got basically, if I say you've got $1,000 bond, the $1,000 is what it's worth at the end of the term. So it's kind of weird, because it doesn't have a price right now. It only has a price at the end. So how much would you pay me now to get $1,000 in a year or 10 years? That's the question. Bonds tend to be more conservative, and I wish we could meet in person because I've got this whole thing I do with my hands to explain what happens with bonds. But basically, if in a zero coupon bond, so if there's no coupon payments, so it's just you're buying the right to get $1,000, so let's say $1,000 value at the end. If the price is low right now, that difference sets interest rates in the bond market, because the difference between what you spend now and what you get at the end is how much interest you're earning. So when prices are low, that's the interest. If prices are high, bond prices are high, the interest you will earn on that investment is much lower. So as bond prices go up, so that's the price paid now. Here's the price then in the future. This is now. As bond prices go up, interest rates go down. So, what would cause bond prices to go up? Well, just like anything else, if more people want to buy it. So, if a bond, nobody wants to buy it, then the price is very low. As the bond starts to quote unquote heat up, everyone wants to buy it. That makes the price go up, which means the difference between the price you're willing to pay now and the price at the end at maturity is very small. So, interest rates are very low. You can't earn a lot of interest on bonds. So, as the price of bonds go back down, people are less interested in them, interest rates go up. So there's this kind of inverse relationship between bonds and interest rates. Okay, so what am I saying when I say interest rate? Another word for that is the yield rate, the rate determined by the price paid for the bond. Selling at a discount when the coupon rate is less than the yield rate, i.e. the market price is less than the maturity value, which kind of a lot of people would make sense for folks. Selling at a premium when the coupon rate is more than the yield rate, the market price is more than the maturity value, which is an interesting situation. But it has to do with the fact that so this only makes sense if you're also getting you're getting payments in between. So let's talk about what's going on. I'm going to give you an example. I can already feel people being confused, and I realize I'm going to work on this. So if you come back and see this in a couple years, hopefully I will work on it, explain things more. Like I said, bonds, very complicated. Suppose a 15-year corporate bond has a maturity value of $10,000. So it's going to be worth $10,000. So there's now, and then do we say 15 years? And at the end, it's going to be worth $10,000. Oh, I got an extra zero in there. I was just very excited about earning 10,000. I decided I'd make it 100,000. Why not? There we go. Okay, so we're making $10,000 at the end. It's worth that. And so the question is, how much should we pay now, given that over the 15 years, there's going to be two things going on. There's going to be coupons paid semi-annually. So there will be coupons Every 6 months, because semi-annually means 6 months. So every 6 months you get a little bit you get like a little bit extra money. They're like, "Here, take some money." And they're like, "Ooh, yay, let's have some money." So you get some of your money up front, and then you're also, hopefully, you've paid less now than it's worth then, so you're gonna get a little extra money out of when it finalizes, when it settles. So you're going to pay them some amount now to get the right to get $10,000 15 years in the future. And twice a year, you're going to get paid 5%. Does that make sense? This is where I wish you were here in person, because I could say, does this make sense? And you could all say, no, it makes no sense. One thing that I can explain, which is probably not the thing you're curious about, but why is it called a coupon? And the answer is, if you've actually seen old bonds, when you bought the bond, you actually got a sheet. And I wish I had a picture to show you. I saw my grandmother's. You got a sheet of little coupons, and you had to take those in or mail them in, and then they would send you your check. So those coupons were literally like turning in a coupon at a supermarket, except they were worth $100 instead of 50 cents. So you would take these actual physical pieces. So at that time, the way they did it, if somebody stole the bond, they would have all those coupons. That would be as good as stealing cash. Okay, so we've got these coupons being paid regularly. Now you understand why we're in the present value of an annuity, because this is an annuity. Every 6 months, we're going to get a payment. That counts as an annuity. And we also have the $10,000, which we want to figure out what $10,000 would be worth 15 years before, so ahead of time. So the coupon payment. So how much you're going to get every 6 months? Well, because R for the coupons is 0.05. This is for the coupons. Let's see. I will do yellow for the coupons. And I know some people say coupons, and I don't understand that at all. So the coupons are semi-annual. So we have to take the 5%. Oh, I'm going to regret this. So let me take my handy dandy highlighter there. I know everything's yellow. Let's just make everything yellow. Why not? So we take the 0.05 and we divide by 2, because M is 2 for semi-annual. So we're getting a quarter, 0.025. So instead of 5%, we're getting 2.5% every 6 months. Okay, so then what did I do? I took this interest rate and I just multiplied times the maturity value, the $10,000. So I'm getting $250 every 6 months. Okay, so that's the first part. So each of these guys is going to be $250. So we're going to have every 6 months. So how many of them are there? Well, we're doing it for 15 years. This is 15 years all the way through. It's every 6 months. So there's going to be 30 payments. Okay, so we'll get 30 payments of $250. Step 2. Now what we're going to do is find the present value of the $10,000. So the $10,000 in 15 years in the future, how much is it worth now? And it says, I would like to earn a yield of 7.2% compounded semi-annually. So I want to earn 7% just on the investment between what I pay now and what I pay in the future. So the desired yield is 0.072 annually, which again, M is 2. So I'm actually getting 3.6% semi-annually. There are 30 payments. Remember, there are 30 periods. And so this one I know I got you all excited for an annuity. This is not an annuity. This is a situation where we have just a future value. The future value is $10,000. And I want to know what is the present value. So I set up this formula. So we've got $10,000 equals P. I don't know what it's worth right now. 1 plus 0.036 to the 30th, right? There are 30 periods and 3.6%. Oh, get out my green. This is my yield percent that I'm interested in. Okay, so 10,000 divided by 1 plus 0.036 to the 30th equals P. And this is back to the calculations we were doing in 6.2. So I'm going to do $10,000. Sorry, you can't see it. $10,000 divided by parenthesis 1 plus 0.036 raised to the 30th. And I get 3461.0457 which is approximately equal to $3,461.05. So we're already at 17 minutes. So I'm gonna have to break this. I'll have a second video that goes through the rest of it. But this is the present value of the $10,000 maturity value in 15 years at 7.2%. Let me scooch this over so you can see it. Okay. So let me take a moment now and say, okay, so notice this has nothing to do with the 250 that we just figured out. This is just the present value of the bond. So if I were to say, I want to pay $3,461.05 for your bond, if there were no coupon payments, if it was just worth something at maturity, but nothing in between, none of the extra payments, you would know that I am expecting a 7.2% interest rate. Now let's think. If I'm suddenly going to you going, no, I really want your bond. I will give you $3,500 for that bond. If this price is higher, then what does that mean about the interest rate? That means that I think interest rates are dropping and I'm not expecting 7.2%. I'm willing to accept less than that. What if I'm not willing to pay this? What if I'm like, no, I think it's only worth $3,000? Well, if it's only worth $3,000, then we could work backwards like we did in chapter 5 and figure out what exactly you think the interest rate should be. So this is how bond prices set interest rates. If we know what the price would be for a given interest rate, if someone is willing to pay more or less, it determines what they think, how they think interest rates are going to change. That's it. Okay, math on. I will continue this video in a little bit and we will solve the case of the missing answer, I guess. Yeah, come on, Scoobies. Let's go solve this financial question. I'm sure it's Old Man Smithers and it probably had to do with a farm and some gold buried out back. Okay, math on.